What's going on, people? Welcome to Matic TV. Welcome to the Inter United podcast. We've actually finally managed to get one where I had a bit of a break beforehand. We're not rushing around because there's so many matches going on. It's not Europa League, Sunday football. Well, kind of is. We are playing on a Sunday, but it was at a normal kickoff time today. Allow me to introduce my esteemed panel of guests today. First of all, I'm going to introduce my weekly armchair kickoff podcast friends. You all know the man, Mr. Keane Frayne. How are you, my man?
Very good, Adam. Thanks for asking, and just want to say absolutely well done on the protest yesterday. You all done a fantastic job. Big up,
big up. And it is with great pleasure I can welcome back a long-term channel contributor, Busy Bee, as always. But like I said, back today because we've got a normal kickoff time. Mary from She Devils United, welcome back to the panel.
It's been too long, way too long. I'm delighted to finally be back on the channel. And shout out to you and Saeed for yesterday's protest. Done us all proud. Buzzing for you guys. Glazers out.
Speaking of which, Mary has just introduced the man himself, Mr. Saeed TV. My man, how's the day after, mate? Are you feeling okay?
I'm still knackered, mate. I remember someone just jumping on my back, man, and my back's killing now. But yeah, other than that, all for the cause. Glazers out. You know what the score is.
Yeah. Yes. Everyone who did their bit. It wasn't just about us that were there. We did our bit for everyone else. But all your posts, your tweets, your retweets, your Instagram posts, everything that you guys did, spreading the word. That's what our channels have managed to do, I think, more than anything else out of all of this. We've managed to come together and we've all shared and retweeted and done it. We've done our own videos. Mary's done loads of videos. Keen's been all over it. My man, Bits and Bobs, the last one on the panel, been doing his bit as well, but he's been doing it at home, people, and he's gone and got himself drunk, and now he is nursing the biggest hangover ever. But, Bobs, mate, it was all for a good cause, wasn't it?
Of course, mate. Listen, yeah, so what? Hashtag Glazers out, mate. Do you know what I mean? Listen.
I like that one. Keep using that one, mate. Yeah, so what? Glazers out. That's gonna you have to keep with that one, mate, until they're gone.
literally, big up to you and Saeed, man. Seriously, Saeed talked about the last protest and they bottled it, they done our Spurs, but it was really good to see, literally. And also, do you know what, man? Seriously, you guys, man, should run for governor. Should go for government, man. I'd vote for both of you. Literally. Seriously. But big up to you guys again. And it's good to see Keane and Mary. It's brilliant to see you. 100%.
Oh, guys, me and Saeed, I don't know if you guys know this, but we got kind of kiboshed right in the middle of a big ruck. And they made us sing basically in front of the hordes. Saeed went first. He set his tune off, all good. And to be fair, our guys backed us and the crowd sang with us. But them first few lines are the most nerve-wracking lines you could ever, because there was such importance in it and everyone was boisterous. And my voice completely broke and sounded like a 6-year-old girl. And it was just one of the moments where you want to swallow me up. But luckily, Owen, Zeke, Said, all the guys were there and they all backed me up, and we did get into what was, I think, the whole United song repertoire, mate. I think we went through every single song that we've not sang for the last year that we've been missing, and it was an absolutely brilliant day. Absolutely brilliant. Loved every single minute of it. But we're back and we're talking we're talking to what we can do going forward, big topics going forward, and obviously the game today, football was back, guys. Mary, I'll come to you first. First time you've been on for a while, it seemed to just go back to, it went back to normal very, very quickly, didn't it? So
what a crock of shit. Honestly, it was just so bad. We forgot how, I don't want to be negative and Ollie out is trending and I think it's a bit too far, but we just forgot how actual bad the football can be at times. And we forgot how, McFred and Pogba not starting and the same problems. And it was just a stark reminder, actually, that all is not well at the club. And yeah, we're second, but like we're miles off the top. And City won a trophy today, again another one. We're miles off. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, the eyes are on getting the Glazers out, and that's priority number one. But it's been a bit of a meh season. Yeah, we have a big game on Thursday night. We want to go out there and win, but today it was dreadful yet again. Really was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Keane, your thoughts on the actual game itself? Really, it just stalemate.
Yeah, well, I think we were tepid. We were very lethargic for large parts of the game. I thought, like, when you look at the starting lineup, it was the same lineup, bar Mason Greenwood, that played the 6-2 game at Old Trafford. So I was expecting us to play with a high tempo and a high press and aggression. But there was lack of that. Now, I don't know whether that's kind of with an eye on Thursday. Obviously, look, that's kind of the season-defining game almost. Because obviously a trophy is, very important. But yeah, for a derby game against one of our biggest rivals, we were talking about Friday that Leeds is a game you have to get up for, regardless where you are in the table. Boring, but all eyes on Thursday now.
That's it. Side, mate. David Hatton in with a comment here. Adam, the game was that bad. I washed my hair 3 times and I'm bald. He's going straight in with Ollie out. Is it? We'll get into the 3 reasons that I've titled this video in a minute, but is it a bit too much right now to be brandishing out the Ollie outs and making it trend? Like Mary said, a bit too much. I know you have your opinion, mate, but end of the season, I think let's just see how far we can get, and maybe then we can have a look at it, maybe.
Yeah, I think with the Ollie out, I don't know if you see my tweets, but mine was just more just like, it's like I'm seeing the same stuff and I'm just thinking, why does it just keep happening time and time again? Do you know what I mean? And I think the Ollie out thing is I've not seen anything different, so I can't really say Ollie out. I've said my beat. For me, everyone knows my opinion about Ollie, but I didn't feel I was attached to the game today. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
my feeling was just like, yesterday was more exciting. With the kind of the feeling we had yesterday was more exciting. I had like flashbacks. I was thinking in the end like how good was yesterday, but today. These are the kind of games where you needed the fans. As much as we don't like Leeds and all that, but fans in the stadium just to kind of, when teams are sitting back, and because what you have in this game where you have no fans, you don't have that urgency. And I think Man United they lack urgency. That's why we've had 10 draws this season. A lot of people say, well, we're undefeated, but I'm telling you right now, everyone will take them draws to be a split between losses and wins. Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, where we are in the league, because we've had too many draws, too many games where we've not gone for it. Late substitutions again from Ollie. What is Donny van de Beek going to do with 4 minutes to go? Oh my God! Sometimes I feel like Donny should just say, what is it? Is it? Do you reckon
I'm not
come on? Are you
coming on.
sure? Yeah, I'm not coming on. Do a Carlos Tevez.
Do a Carlos Tevez on it.
Yeah. So and then obviously Pogba doesn't have enough in him. The game was scrappy as it is, and he didn't have enough in it to kind of change the game. It's too late again, So for me, nothing that I didn't see, but I just feel like for me, this Europa League will be it for me. I think Premier League, I'm with the emotions. I'm not really thinking about it. It's when I see City today win the Carabao Cup, we need to win that Europa League. It's now or never. If we don't, then I tell you what, man, it might just make the Ollie out movement bigger than the Glazer out movement, which for me, we should be focused on the Glazer, but it will do that, and it's it's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, Bobs, I'll get the ball rolling with you, mate. Is one eye possibly on Europa League? Have we accepted that the season is done as the Premier League? Because I think, to me, at the end there, it looked like United looked at this game. Yeah, we're not going to finish any lower than second. Leeds not going anywhere. Said touched on fans there being at this game. This is one game that needs fans. Everybody knows Leeds against United. If you've got any United history or know your history, this is the biggest and most bitter rivalry in Premier League history. Yeah. So, really, do you think the fans being there today would have even pushed Leeds on? Because they were accepting this as a draw as well, mate, because they didn't really take one risk in the whole game.
No, I think they all had their holidays booked. To be honest, I think their minds are elsewhere. I personally think that if there was fans there, I think the fans would have kindly reminded them who the opposition was, and that goes for vice versa. And do you know what? There was nothing in it. There was no rivalry, and even in the midfield, there was no one kicking anyone. And I'm not trying to say kick, but there was no like. Do you know what I mean? You play for Leeds. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? So it was a dead boring game. Obviously, the emotions from obviously the fans that went to the protest yesterday were probably looking like, come on, give us something now, to justify the loyalty of the fans going for the protest. And today, unfortunately, we were let down. And the substitutions, I'm with you on the Donny van de Beek thing. I remember Daniel De Rossi done it for Italy, and he just says, I'm not going on. Like, you must think as a player, you need time to imprint yourself, to get in, to catch up with the speed of play. You've put Pogba on very late, and then you brought the rest of them on, and it's thinking, well, what do you want them to exactly do? You can't, no one's Thierry Henry here running from one side to the other side of the pitch. We're not doing that. And it was just horrible. Yes, one eye could be on, but I can't accept that, because if you want to win on all fronts, you've got to take one game at a time. And today, see Man City win another trophy, and with Said, he has to win this Europa League, because if he doesn't, boy, I'm going to have to get the flight down as well to join us for the next protest. You know what I mean? Seriously.
That's it, mate. I mean, Mary touching on that there, it's been a big topic again. I think I labelled today a day for the Ollie Outers brigade today, because he just played right into their hands today. The substitutions, someone made a cut. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm just going to bring it up now. I know it seems a bit unprepared and stuff, but I'm just going to bring it up. It was a brilliant comment. It just stuck with me. Just bear with me a second. Let me bring it up. So it says Pogba, Westerly 13, Cavani, North 5, and Donny van der Beek, Easterly 1.5. No, not the shipping forecast, but Ollie's substitutions in minutes. People are cottoning onto this, and people are using it there. He's not helping himself with this. Pogba was warming up at half time. And I'm thinking, okay, and some of his substitute timings have been better recently, Mary, but again today, he's got Pogba warming up at half time. Him and Cavani both warming up on 60. I'm thinking half an hour, I'll accept that. That's about right. But then these players need time to settle into the game to make an impact. It just went from Pogba, okay, not really much time, to Cavani, what do you expect him to do? To Donny van der Beek, what's the point? And that's how it come across, and that's what people are using. He's not really helping himself, Mary, with the way he's doing these substitutions. That's his biggest, I think, one of the biggest gripes a lot of the fans have got with him.
But this has been ongoing since he came into the job.
Exactly.
I mean, he's inexperienced, he's learning, but when are you going to learn? If you're still learning, when are you going to learn? You're constantly making. The only time he's made an early sub was against Southampton when he brought Cavani on at half time. Pogba should have started. And why are you starting Pogba on the left wing? He should be in the double pivot. McFred, I mean, I don't want to be scapegoating players, but I mean, Pogba or McFred. Let's be honest here. Donny or McFred. And as well, Bruno hasn't played well. I don't want to be digging him out, but Bruno's been overplayed, not played well recently. Yep. Why not play Donny in there, in the 10, and give him a chance to showcase himself in there with Pogba, with Fred, one of Fred and McTominay, because an extra creative midfielder needs to be in that double pivot. And then, we could all see at half time it was meh. And then Pogba with 12 minutes. I think Ollie thinks that it's like it's 99 and a player only needs 60 seconds to impact a game. But unless you're an impact sub and you're used to that all the time, a midfielder does need time to get the feel of the game, get in the tempo, make his mark on the game. Not 2 minutes for Don. Are you having a laugh? McTominay was awful in this game. Awful, dreadful. I gave him a 4 out of 10 on my channel. I could have given him a 2. He was that bad. And you're telling me Donny couldn't get on. Oh, and then he brought Fred off, who was decent, and McTominay was terrible, and he brought off the wrong player. The subs are a joke. It's beyond a joke now. And the style of football, I know, again, it should be about the owners, but the majority of games this season we've played terrible. The minority of games we've played well. It needs to be vice versa. I can accept poor performances if they're in the minority, but I'm going to say even if he wins the Europa League, I wouldn't even give him a contract at the end of the season. The football is garbage. The decisions are garbage.
Yep.
Like, we're Man United. City are going to win at least the league by at a stroll. And the Carling Cup, they're in a European Cup. They're in a European Cup semi-final. We're in the Europa. We couldn't even make it out of our group. We want the Glazers out, but where's the standards for Man United fans? We're accepting this shit.
They're the ones that really, like, at the moment. You look at that, Mary, like, you look at that at the moment now. The Glazers are the one who are trying to lower the United fan standards at the minute, and they're the ones who are employing Ollie. This the thing here. The Glazers will have this effect here where, yes, they'll keep Ollie in the job as long as he gets top 4. And that's the fact here. Regardless of what happens, no matter how the football is, or no matter what we do, top 4 is the Glazers ceiling, and that's a massive, massive problem. And even if we don't win the Europa League, he's gonna keep his job. And that's a scary thing when you think about it. Yes, I think, like, look, you can look at points tallies. There's progress in the league. Obviously, trophies are the benchmark for success. But Ollie, yes, decision making, in game management is a very, very big problem. Glazers are even a bigger problem, and I think it's just a combination of all bad things at the minute.
But is the Glazers a bigger problem? Sorry, I just want to ask this question to everyone, right? Because I've been thinking about this today, right? The Glazers, if they don't sell, they're going to be there. As much as we try as hard, we're trying to get them out. I get that, yeah. But the Glazers don't coach these players. They're not there kicking the ball, telling them drills and stuff. So when I think the bigger problem, for me, I personally think it's 50-50, because no matter what goes on the pitch, goes off the pitch, you still need to perform and deliver on the pitch. And I think that is, in my opinion, I think that's just as big as a problem as Glazers, because, like Mary said, how she just described the game there, and also the substitutions and stuff, we still played rubbish. I don't want to swear. We played really bad against a team that we beat 6-2, and against a rival where we should be up for it. There should be more enthusiasm. Like, you shouldn't really need a team talk to play against Leeds away. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I think, for me, like Keane says, if he gets top 4, he's going to keep his job. That's an even worse problem, because some of these players, like, I think it's came out today or a couple of days ago, Bruno's not going to sign a new contract because he doesn't know if Pogba's going to be here. Like, that's worrying, you know, and you're not convincing these players. And the last thing I want to say on that, like, we've seen Ollie struggle to sign players. Okay, we've signed Bruno, but what world-class midfielders coming to United with Ollie at the helm right now? We need to ask that question.
Interesting, you should say. You think it's a 50-50. I think the main thing that has shown this week with everything that's gone is the lack of football knowledge the Glazers and our owners, and a few of the other owners have got. I can't blame Ole for everything, because at the end of the day, the bigger problem is the Glazers. And think on this: if the Glazers are in charge, then we are going to see Ole. So ultimately, they're not going to sack the man that keeps bringing them all this money through little investment, which is the main problem. We're hearing rumours now Spurs may be going in for Nagelsmann. Now, we're at a stage again. This keeps coming around for United. We missed out on Pep. We missed out on Klopp. We missed out on Poch, you would say, some would say, although we are still all pretty much giving Ole to the end of the season. And like Mary said, I'm with Mary on that. No contracts, but getting Champions League and winning Europa League just keeps you in a job, bare minimum. Next season, though, there's another level that he needs to get to, and that's when that contract should be judged, because the only way he should get that is if we are serious title contenders, in my opinion. But all of this comes down to the Glazers, in my opinion. I mean, Said, mate, we know we've heard the groans, the moans in the ground, and at the end of the day, Ed Woodward appointed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was the one who gave him the contract. He's the one who backed him all the way, and now he's gone. So what's to say the guy coming in, the new CEO, then talks to the Glazers and says, look, maybe Ole isn't working, but the main problem's still there, mate. The main problem's still there. The investment isn't going to get any better. So really, we all understand the problems we've got on the pitch, but I'm sort of with you in the fact that we're not all quite there now. People messaged me today and said, I couldn't give a toss. I really couldn't give a toss today. The season's gone for me.
Same.
It finished,
I'm like that in the Premier League.
last Sunday. Yeah, it finished last Sunday for me. I keep getting that a lot right now, and it's hard to forgive. It really is hard to forgive, and we can moan about the football, but a lot's happened before last Sunday in the league, and I think that's where the guys, Mary, Bobs, they're all coming from, and a lot of other fans are going to jump on the bandwagon again, mate. But ultimately, if we're staying in the top 4, mate, is Ollie ever going to go?
No, it's Arsenal Football Club, isn't it? At the end of the day, isn't it? That's what it is. And the worst thing is just that it's going to keep him in a job. And for that, I feel for this generation of fans, because, you know, they have seen Arsenal be mocked, calling top 4 a trophy. We mock them, let's be honest. And now for our club to turn like that, what? So top 4, is that it? Is that what we're playing for? Fulfilling fixtures and make sure we get to a certain point and then just call it a day? I can't accept that. 100%, I cannot accept that. And I just think, with my comment when I say which is the bigger problem, I just think the future of the team is at stake as well, guys. Adam, like you said, and Mary said, he's got to win Europa League to keep his job. That's worrying, that he has to win the Europa League to convince people that he should still be in a job. And the next season, like you said, Adam, what's going to happen next season? How do we kick on? We all know how we kick on. We go get the best players in these positions. But we all know on a Sunday where we have to tell the truth, we're not going to get it. The way I look at it is...
Said, I mean, just quickly there, mate, you posted last night in our group, mate, about some comments that Ollie made regarding the ownership. I mean, your thoughts on that, mate, and what was said. Does it roll down into a bigger problem that Ollie pretty much has... He has been told by certain terms what he can and can't say right now. And if the results on the pitch aren't going well, is he really he's on a hiding to nothing?
Yeah, for me, when I heard that, man, it was probably the worst thing you could probably hear, man. Regardless of people when they say, but he had to say it though. You know, did he though? Did he? You know what I mean? Like, you see Guardiola and all that, they don't really say things that, you know, they don't need to really say, do they? Like when Ollie said about, you know, the quotes are there, man. You know what I mean? He went large and extensive to the point where he said the Glazers are going to be remaining committed to the club. I mean, who wants to hear that? Like, seriously, does anyone want to hear that? Like,
no.
Honestly, mate, just touching on that side there, mate. If I was a manager in a managerial position of a company, and let's just treat it as a company at the moment, because that's how they have, and especially the last few days. If I was thrown under the bus, because the Glazers haven't had to speak to no one, Ollie has. Ollie's the one who has to front it up, and he's still coming with that. And like you said then, Matt, I understand you want to keep your job, you don't really upset the boss, blah, 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 I know all that, but was it not a time for him to come out and take his chances because of what they had done?
Maybe, possibly, but it's like, for me, like, you know, it's like, say now, you know, you've done something for someone, and then you give them an extra thing on top, you know what I mean? Did you have to give that extra thing on top? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? How much stuff are you going to give for free, Ollie? You know what I mean? You're giving a lot of PR for free. And I'm just thinking, you know, what was the question? Did it need the answer? That's why I'm looking at it. What was the question from the reporter? Was the question from the reporter says, what do you think about the Glazer ownership at the minute, you know, in terms of, you know, the fans now are voicing their opinion on what they really think of the Glazers. Right, okay. On Friday, I liked what he said. He goes, we want to hear what the fans are saying. It's good to hear the fans are saying, you know, Right, leave it as that now. Did you need to say a monologue of basically defending the Glazers? They've always backed me. They've always treated me. I understand to a certain extent when you talk about Bruno and Van der Beek and whatnot, but remain committed to the club was probably the worst thing I could have heard. And a lot of people will say, you can only say what the boss wants to hear, and it's all, you know, why would he go against his boss? It's not about why would he go against his boss, but do you need to say them things when you know the fans are on a kind of a a touchy feeling point where anything you say will trigger the fan base. Anything. And especially the worst thing is it, Man United brought them comments out just after the Glazers protest. So I got home, I relaxed. About 10 o'clock in the evening, boom, them comments came out. It was like a dagger to the heart. It was like one of them where, I know 2nd of May is coming up, but it made me think, you know what I mean? I know this Glazers post, but then again, all he's coming out and saying is, he's almost giving a kind of another lifeline to the Glazers. You know, when you get extra life, he's giving them an extra life. When they're probably, yesterday I felt like they were on, let's say 3 bars out of 5. And then yesterday evening, back to full bar for the Glazers. And then I was, I don't know. I just feel like for me, it's damaging. It's damaging for United fans to hear that, But then again, apparently, he's not defending Glazers. He's just doing what he's meant to do. So it's difficult, man.
Which is defending the Glazers, though. But then if you, we all criticize Mourinho, right? When he speaks out and says, well, but at the end of the time, when he does it at another club, we applaud it because it's the honest truth. So technically, what we're saying at all is just to be your own man. We've heard him trying to copy the 99, whatever, blah, blah. Be your own man. He should come out and literally just say, I don't agree with this, and just say, look, this is what's happened. I
mean, it's like, guys, did you happen to see this picture outside?
No, I didn't see this.
Outside Leeds, what they posted up there. You see it. I mean, it is quite. So basically, the small print there, you're not going to be able to read. But this was hung outside Leeds United's main gate. The club wouldn't allow this to stay up there if they weren't backing it. So this is a Leeds United. They're basically saying, we know what is coming. We know what you are. Going back through the history, trying to basically accuse United of doing this constantly. That size there, it's like 2 meters by 2 meters. And what it's basically saying is Manchester United, we know what's coming. And they're expecting this to come back restructured, exactly the same, but obviously benefiting the bigger clubs again. And I spoke about this the other day. I mean, Keane, I'll bring you on this one quickly, mate, that the punishment for the top 6 clubs, let's call them top 6, so-called top 6 clubs that have done this, is the next big step for the Premier League, because the 14 other clubs are going to come down on the Premier League and say, look, what are you doing? What are you doing? They have just taken the piss. They have broken the rules. They have tried to cheat our league. Why are you not acting? So we could be heavily punished yet. And I think this may be the only nail that's going to seal that coffin on the Glazers, in my opinion, mate, because if we get points deductions and we can't get back into Europe, whatnot, it may be a tough one for us as well. Like Bob was saying, maybe you'll get the likes of Bruno, Pogba, these players not wanting to be at the club if we're not in Europe. But ultimately, we have to lose so much just to get what we want, mate? That's the big question. Do we have to really lose and lose out a lot?
Yeah, I think the only way these bastards leave, I'm sorry for swearing, but I have to call them that because that's what they are.
So I'm bringing Mary in next. You're okay. Don't worry.
That's mild.
Like, the only way I think these people leave, right, is simple. Champions League football needs to be gone for a couple of years, or even relegation. Something as drastic as that for them to leave. Because we're their cash cow at the end of the day. We're their revenue. We're their free dividends every year. They take $2 billion out of the football club. We're their ATM. That's what we are. In terms of the punishment, Adam, I don't think we get points deducted this year, but I think what could happen for all these big 6 clubs, or so-called big 6, the Premier League could take a cop-out and they could just fine all these clubs, which I wouldn't agree with. If they just fine them, that's disgusting, right? That's absolutely sick. Maybe points deductions for next season. I think that would be appropriate. Like, serious points deductions, maybe 15 points, 10, 15 points deduction at the start of the season, and punish these clubs for what they've done. I think that would be appropriate. But again, will the Premier League have the balls to do it? That just remains to be seen.
No.
This is it. I mean, Mary, do we have to go down? I mean, at the end of the day, if we are deducted points, that will obviously mean Ole keeps his job. It's not his fault. Will it be a case of everyone who's wanting a change up in the management and the coaching staff, whatnot, ain't going to get their wish because I don't think even, well, they probably could do the Glazers, but to be honest, if Ollie can't get us back in to the Premier League with that team, then I would be seriously worried. Or if he can't make up 20 points and get us somewhere near the top, I would be worried. But is it a case of that, Mary? Is this the only way with what's coming with the Premier League and the punishment that we're all expecting? Is it going to be the only way that things are going to change from top to bottom on this as well? Players, coaches, manager, this could change everything for us.
But it won't, because until their money runs out, until there's nothing in the ATM, they're going nowhere. So even if we are in the Championship, even if we're bottom of the league and minus 50 points, as long as we're still going to games, we're paying for MUTV, we're buying the shirts, me included, all of us, because it's so hard to turn your back on your club and not go to the games, not wear the shirts, not have the app, not interact on social media, because that's what we want to do, because we live and breathe this football club and we want to support them in ways that we can. But as long as we're doing that, I read today they've made 400 and odd million just by selling shares on the stock exchange, and they're not even the voting shares. They're the ones that either Class A or Class B, because I don't have a clue. The ones that are meaningless. They've made nearly 500 million selling these shares alone, let alone their dividends, paying all of that. So just selling the shares on the stock exchange with no vote rights, they've made nearly 500 million. They're going nowhere as long as the money is rolling in. It has to be even without the punishments, it has to be the best punishment would be the 50+1. That would be the best punishment. You relinquish control. We're bringing in the 50+1. You're 49%. You have no control. That's it. Like, they're not going to relegate us because the Premier League need us because we're the biggest club in the world. UEFA aren't going to ban us from Europe because they'll have to ban all these 12 clubs, and that means no one's watching the Champions League next season. Maybe a points deduction, but again, the we're still going to go to the games, we're still going to buy the shirts. So it's not going to affect the ownership, and it's not going to affect the manager, because the Glazers will keep him there. And even if they don't, the next fella coming in, is this going to be the same? We've seen this since 2013. It's like the hamster on the wheel, the same shit once the owners are there, because they employ Ed Woodward, they employ money men, they fuck up in the transfer window, and they can never get it right. It's a reign of error since 2005, 2013 really, and it's not going to change as long as they're still there.
I've seen the title of that video of yours the other day there, Mary. Nice. I like that one. Reign of errors. Love it.
Ed Woodward.
Yeah. I mean, Said, mate, I'm going to say this here, we've got a Leeds fan in the comments who just brought his points up there. All 6 deserve point deduction. We had it in League One, and the likes of Sheffield Wednesday and Wigan all got point deduction. Top 6 should be no different. Rangers got relegated 3 divisions, Said, mate.
To the very bottom, mate. To the very bottom.
3 divisions. I mean, there is massive, massive pressure. I mean, the Premier League right now are in a really tough position, because Mary just mentioned it their side. The Premier League honestly cannot live without these big 6 teams. I think I agree with that, and everyone with a bit of common sense would understand where we're coming from with that. We're not saying that is right, people, by the way.
Oh, no.
We're just saying the politics of football and money determine that's what will probably happen. But them other 14 clubs right now are down the Premier League's neck. The FA are probably onto the Premier League as well, Said, mate. So I'm going to pose this question to you. Say a point deduction comes in, 20 points for all 6 teams. Do you have confidence in Ole getting them 20 points back over the space of a season? And he has a big job here, mate, because these players' momentum, through no fault of their own and their careers, have just been cut. So he has to motivate that. Is he the man to then do that job? Because this is why I said he should have took his chance by saying something, because this can ultimately happen, and then it's going to be put on his shoulders for not being able to do this job. When he's done his bit now, it's going to be thrown under the bus completely. Yeah. Where are the players going to be at? Where is Ollie going to be at if this happens? Yeah. Can he do it?
The thing is,
has he got the capability?
I don't think he could do it. But the thing that is quite startling is the fact that he said, I'm not a coach, I'm a manager. Well, you're going to need to coach them players, mate, to get them 20 points, to tell you that. You know what I mean? You're not going to manage them and say, you know what, we can do it, guys, come on. That kind of motivation will not work. So it's a sticky one for me, but I feel like when you put in that situation, I think it's going to cause absolutely carnage, in the dressing room. There's going to be lots of fallouts. Then you're going to get somewhat of uncertainty, because if the Premier League or whoever, put it out before or just after the season, or just after the season's finished for next season, you're gonna have players going to the Euros trying to basically play well to get a move, So I think it's a sticky situation, it's a messy one, and I feel like for me, I couldn't care less what happens in terms of they get productive or not, because for me, the way they've treated us, mate, it's been disgusting. So I couldn't really care less, for the club's sake. I'll support them no matter what, you know what I mean, in terms of the club, not the Glazers, because I feel like these people need to distinguish that, you support the club, not the Glazers, you know what I mean? A lot of people say, give your season to get away.
Team, mate. Mate, it's club versus team.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So
support the team,
mate, support the team, yeah, exactly. Like I said to you that day, mate, when I said to you about the analogy about, if you had your brother, you never spoke to him for 20 years, but at the end of the day, he was in a dire situation where he needed that money. Of course, you're going to give it him, because that's your family, isn't it? So, at the end of the day, mate, I support this club, mate. And for me, the Glazers are probably absolutely licking their lips, mate, in terms of the uncertainty will cause them to even think, you know what, shall we reconsider the Super League? So we're in a kind of a shitty situation. We're going to get deducted 20 points, or they're going to turn around and say, you know what, Perez is still waiting, Barcelona's still waiting. Shall we just go in the Super League before we get deducted 20 points? So we're kind of screwed either way, and that for me is scary. It really is.
I mean, Bobs, I'm going to bring you in on this super chat here. Joey writes, cheers for the super, mate. Glazers would scoff at point deduction. They don't care where we finish. Punishments need to be aimed at their pockets, not fans, players, or the club. Then, in that, mate, Bobs, would that Scuparelli then? Because if they're being fined or we're hitting their pockets, as Joey says there, that's coming out of one thing, mate, and that's the coffers for transfers, mate. It's not coming out of their pockets. So we're coming back to the conversation again. What can Ellie do if he can't buy any more players? Because we've seen and we've criticised and we've had our piece on who's there now, and it not working and him not having the capabilities. And it comes back again to that conversation, mate. Ollie is still backing the Glazers, knowing that all this is going on. If we know, Ollie knows. And I said it before. I said we need to get behind Ollie and the lads. It's not their fault. They've been thrown under the bus here. But there's only one fall guy in all of this that I can see coming up, mate, in the future. And whether you're an Ollie in or an Ollie out, mate, it's going to be unfairly done, because this is not his fault. This is not his doing. And whether you like him or not, he's going to be the fall guy for all of this. And then can you imagine the fan base? If this happens, mate.
Look,
what's the lesser evil, Bob? What's the lesser evil, mate?
The thing for me is that you should hit their pockets, because that's what they want, isn't it? It's money they want. So let's hit them. They should say they're banned from Champions League, no revenue money. The Premier League should even say, wherever you finish in the Premier League, you know how they get money and stuff. You're not getting anything. Hit them with the points. Just throw the whole at them. Say, do you want to leave? No problem. No European football. Okay, your players your club won't compete. Give them the 20 points. Flipping out, ban everything. Ban them from competing or even talking to Sky everywhere where they can get sponsorship deals, blah 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 and stuff. Hit them where it's legally capable of doing, because that's when they'll probably think, okay, we're not going to make any money this season or the next 2 years. We need to do something. And then obviously you see the shareholders, the stock market, the PLC, whatever it's called, they'll start to come down. They'll want to bail. For Ollie, unfortunately, the buck's gonna lie with him, because he's the manager. He might not be the coach, or we've heard them say he doesn't coach the players. I think we all can agree he doesn't coach the players anyway, 100%. But for Ollie, it's curtains. That's the only way I can say it. It's curtains, because no matter what he does, right now, even if he doesn't say anything, we're like, do something. And when he does the wrong thing, or he doesn't say the right thing. So for him, it's curtains, Adam. And do you know what? Like, I don't really want to talk too much on Ollie because he's really annoyed me this weekend, especially with that result. But for me, I think this might sound controversial. I think he's just happy to be there. You know, when you get one of these squad players, like today, Nathan Ake was just there. And he's just smiling, I just won a trophy. I got a medal. Like he's privileged. I mean, I don't know if privilege is the right word, but he's just there, and he's like, I've got a good gig right now. You know, let's just keep staying here as much as I can. Do the absolute minimum to stay in a job. And for him, it's going to get worse because when they don't get any money, he doesn't get any money. Simple as that. And now we have to start talking to him about what do you actually do for this club and what you're doing for these players. It's easy to say, all right, lads, I'll get the coffees in, Pogba, sugar, milk, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to say, lads, what Lucozade or Powerade you want, and say when you get that cross the white line, go enjoy yourself. But what are you generally actually doing? And I know I'm not trying to get onto Ollie here, but we've got to ask him, like, no matter what, even if you don't get money, okay, I hate to bring this up, Pochettino didn't get any money for 2 years, whatever, right? He still coached them, and you could see the football. Now, I'm not saying go get Pochettino. No. I'm saying show me your worth. Stop giving me these yes men paragraphs or phrases and stuff and monologues, as you guys are saying. It's going to lay with him, and he's going to get sacked. And you know what's going to happen? They're just going to get someone else in to come and do the same thing. And then, so what? Do you know what? FIFA and UEFA are criminals as well. They're a bunch of racists as well. But, like, and the Premier League, they should all just be like, do you know what, Man United, top six, bang, 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 bang. No European football, 20 points. You're not even allowed to take up sponsorship. Just something where they can hit them, where the next 2-3 years, they make no money. Literally. I hope that was good enough.
I mean, that's it. yeah, mate. You pretty much cleared up what you had on your chest there, mate. Yes, that's it. I mean, we're looking at it now. It doesn't look good for Ollie, no matter what he does. It doesn't look good in terms of what the outcome is from all of this, fallout, whether it is fault or not. But we just feel like, as a fan base right now, I think going off what everyone's just said there, they all fear pretty much like the next big decision will be the one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It really will, because if he stays, then we know what we're in for, and we know the Glazers are just doing that because they're pretty much throwing him under the bus. They're showing him a bit of sympathy for the situation. That's how it would seem to me. I would just not give him the contract.
This is a crazy argument to say, but would it take for the sacking of Ollie for everyone to be united? Yes. This is a weird question, because I feel like we're just going to get this situation where, like today, we got Ollie out trending, and I'm one of them where I'm. Listen, I was the one that started the whole thing where I was like Ollie out from like 2019. But I think for me, when I look at it, I look at Ollie's situation. It might look out for himself. It might sort itself out that he will end up, not being good enough for the job. That will sort itself out, whether that's meaning this season or next season when he gets backed and it doesn't improve it, his worth. That can work itself out. Whether he's good enough or whether he's not good enough, that can work itself out. But when I look at the Glazers, it relies on unity, and it relies on just focusing on that problem. And if we don't focus on that problem, we're just going to drift away either way. And no matter how strong you are, no matter how strong you say, I'm going to do it, these kind of performances and these kind of results, like if we lose this Europa League, I think it will just craze absolute anarchy. And that's the problem. Will it take for Ollie to get sacked, a fresh manager to come in, and then everyone's like, right, Glazers out. Or I don't know. I'm just looking at it thinking, I don't know. It's going to be it's a huge division, and it's a huge task to get everyone together for just one cause when you've got Ollie making situations and whatnot. I don't know. I'm just looking at it. Something has to give Saeed,
though. Something has to give Saeed, because if he doesn't win this, let's be honest here. If he doesn't win the Europa League, he's got to go. All jokes aside, he has to go because there's no progression. You've copped it in other cups. You have probably the best route to the FA Cup final. You mock that up. if he doesn't win it, there's no progression there. Okay, we come second, but in a league where COVID and Corona and pandemic and everything, so it's really a hit or miss. Really, he's got to be sacked. But unfortunately, because he's made top 4, they're thinking, well, we're still going to get more money anyway, even though we've not won anything. But he's got to sack him. They've got to sack him because from Man United, forget this brand, the club, okay, the history. This is atrocious. I wanted to swear there. This is fucking shit. Sorry, Adam. It's fucking bullshit.
All right, mate.
Okay? You cannot say to imagine being the Man United manager, you've not won a trophy, and you're in the job. You're on that plane for pre-season. That is unthinkable. It's absolutely it's abysmal. So they've got to sack him.
Yeah.
They have to sack him, and then maybe when they do sack him and realize that. And the fans will realize that, whoa, actually, maybe it wasn't just Ollie. Maybe we need to get these people out. And then maybe everyone can come to be united together. Because, all jokes aside, man, how can you not be... We all support Man United. That's the initial thing here. It's not about... there's, not a priority here. Man United comes first. And that's why we're in this position, how we feel like that. So, Saeed, yes, I think so. He needs to be sacked for everyone to start opening their eyes a bit wider.
It is a shame that one man has to suffer for the sake of a football club, isn't it? It really is. We can all criticise him, but
let's be honest.
Oh, it will be, mate. But it's like, they live in a different world to us, don't they? It's all about reputations. I don't think any of them are too concerned with money. But this is his last big job. No one else is going to employ him, man. Let's be honest.
I was just going to say he's not going to get another big job anywhere else. Let's be honest.
He's not, is he? We know this, and the fact that we just said that, Mary just said that, then it came out of Mary's mouth there without even thinking. It's like we've accepted it for the sake of who he is, and we want him to do well because he's a legend of the football club. It's a tough one. Saeed said it there. Then it is a very, very tough situation. It's just been made worse by what's happened this week. But before we finish up on everything, I'll do the last 15 minutes. Just going to bring some football-related content into it because I'm sick of talking about them cretins. We'll deal with that next weekend when we go and ram it down the throats again on Sunday. So, moving on. Another subject. It's football-related. It is regarding a certain player, a certain Portuguese Magnifico. Keane, I'm going to start you on this one, mate, because I know you love the man. But Bruno Fernandes again in for criticism. Again, big stats coming up about him not scoring a goal from open play in 14 games, so on and so forth. For me personally, everyone knows where I'm at with it. I tweeted it out pretty much earlier on. All of a sudden, the simple stats that everyone was moaning he wasn't doing don't count, and the big stats that everyone was using against him, i.e. just scoring goals, they now are all of a sudden counting because he's not scored one in 14 games, mate. Is this just a case of our fan base proving our fan base what we are again? A one massive divide, mate, right now? Because I can't believe one of the best things to walk through that door at Old Trafford in the last 2 years is getting the amount of stick that he's getting from the fans.
Some of these people, right, who are criticising this man, they're just criticising him for likes, for clicks, for all the clickbait they want in the world. Yes, he hasn't scored in 2 goals in 14 games, both from penalties. Fair enough, but there's other stuff he's doing in terms of keeping it simple. He's linking up the play. He's working hard. He's leading the press. There's other things. You don't just have to score goals in a game of football. If you're watching football for stats, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. You just base football performances off stats. Pick another sport. Watch cricket or something. Because at the end of the day, without his goals, we'd be down with Arsenal this season. We'd be down there with Arsenal, and we'd be having a whole different conversation altogether tonight. But yes, his production could be better, but at the end of the day, he's been ran ragged for the last 2 seasons. He's played a lot of football with Sporting. He hasn't got a rest at United in the last kind of 18 months or whatever, how long he's there. You have to say it yes, there's bound to be a dip in form when you haven't got a rest in that long. And so, all these people who are going to come out and say, are you concerned about Bruno Fernandes? Bruno Fernandes is a bad footballer. take a look who's behind them. Take a look who's behind them, and then come back to me. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and Joey, like you said there, this isn't about my man Statman. I know he put stats out there as well today, but if you look at his actual post, he did come back and say it's not a problem for him. I think he's just making a point of what other people are saying by bringing this up. But what Statman will also tell you is his pass completion that has gone up no end since this has been happening. He's making 7 less mistakes a game, which everyone seemed to love posting out there when it was all in their favour of their agendas. That was just always out there. But he's covered all angles on this, and I have to give him credit for it because he's the one who brings the real stats to the table. And Mary, it just, I mean, for me, I'm not a stat person, but it's just for me, I'm just pointing this out because why would you want to bring down one thing that is good at this football club right now of all times?
But it's the same with Rashford. I mean, the amount of stick he gets. Okay, he can be better. Okay, he can. But his stats have been unbelievable. The two of them are by far, in a way, statistically, goals and assists, we would be nowhere without them. And Rashford is carrying an injury too. 2 injuries, ankle and shoulder. Bruno overplayed, needs a rest. The player is burnt out. But I'm going to say, give me back the old Bruno where he was giving the ball away 8 times. And if he can get 2 assists out of the 2 times he does it well, I'd rather that than Louis van Gaal, passy, sidey crab football bullshit. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see his pass completion go up. I want to see creativity taking a chance. And as well, it's the tactics. To me, a lot of it is the tactics. We see how good he plays with Pogba. We see how good he plays when the tactics are spot on. When they're not, and we're playing negative, boring football with McFred, he suffers. And as well, he can't do it all by himself. If he doesn't play well, we don't play well. And then you're depending on moments of magic from Rashford, etc. And like, if we didn't have Bruno, where the hell would we be? He needs a rest. I'm talking about an extended, like a 3-game rest, 2 weeks rest. But obviously, we're not going to get that now with the Europa League. But the man is probably one of the few world-class players we have. And put some respect in his name. He just needs a rest.
Yeah.
Mate, I mean, Saeed, mate, if we keep going like this as a fan base, then when the chips all do fall down, when the curtain falls, which ultimately we all know is coming in terms of what's been going on this week, we're going to need players like Bruno and his attitude to pick us back up again. I mean, I don't understand the fan base sometimes, mate. I know you know a few people. I know you've been neutral to all of this in terms of Bruno and stuff like that. And Rashford, it's, for me, I just don't get it. I don't know why you would try and find the negative in something that's so good. And I understand the negatives, but do you have to highlight them like they are the worst thing going on right now?
I think it's just, for me, it's an epitome of, that we're relying on them to. I really think it is. I think if there was a kind of a distribution of goals between the team, you're talking about Fred and McTominay. I know McTominay's got 7 goals this season, but, if there was a contribution of goals from everywhere, I think it would kind of, I don't know. I just find it one of them situations where, the style of football, when you see Bruno give it away, and then you see McTominay give it away. It's like, you don't want to see the better player give it away first. So I think a lot of frustration does come from that, and I've always said it for me, I can't, for me, criticize any player to the way I want to. And I've even said it with the GA stuff. I've even said it with goals and assists when they might have a bad game and they come out with a goal and assist. I've always said when the style of play is better, I think we'll have a better understanding of everything. I really, really do. Then I can judge players and say, you know what? You've got a style of play now. What's going on now? Why are you not playing them simple passes? Then certain players can get exposed, say, you know what? He doesn't fit our system now. So McTominay and Fred, they will get exposed eventually when there's a style of play, when you don't have to be defending Maguire and Lindelof. You're not doing that. You're not just doing that. You have to also have an impetus to attack. So there's a lot of factors that are going on right now that are leading to this fact that we're having to dig out Bruno and Rashford. Because there are certain moments where it's a little game, and they missed the only golden chance, and then we're like, oh, Rashford's missed it. You know, he can't finish his dinner. And we have the attack's broken up, or there's a long ball up to Rashford. He misplaces the pass. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to see the Lindelof pass too many times now. You know, I don't know if all he's saying, you know, bomb that forward, mate. Yeah, and I feel like, you know, I'm looking at Rashford thinking, you know what, man? You know, Paul Rashford, he don't want that ball all the time. He wants it to feet. He wants it, you know, played, you know, to the foot where he's comfortable. So I don't know. I just look at it and I think, man, you know, I can never judge players until I see a proper manager with a proper style of play. And if you can do that, then I'll say, you know what, Rashford, next season, yes, we've got the goals, but I want the kind of performances in there where it's a complete performance. Okay, Bruno, right, you're doing well at the minute, but let's keep it simple. Let's not try to force it, you know, and them kind of stuff that come up to it. But if we're not going to get a proper manager, then, you know, these guys are only going to do what they can do. And that score goals and the performances won't be there, I'm afraid. But it is what it is.
I mean, Bob's, mate, I can't remember where you were at with Bruno, actually, mate. I can't remember previous conversations. But are you pretty much on the same side there as the guys? Or can you see this as a problem?
I think, can you guys hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I think with Bruno, right? I think, first of all, Bruno plays for Manchester United. So the impact he's had the initial 12 months is unheard of, unthinkable, okay? The numbers he put up, if you want to do stats, similar to Ronaldo, Messi, blah, blah, and so on, yeah. But listen, I find it quite funny that, and I do think, and Keane, please don't take this as offensive, but I think it's this generation that don't watch football, that watch highlights, that, you know, they see a score on social media and think, raw, he didn't score. Oh my goodness, what kind of player is he? And it's all of that. There's all of loads of those with the question marks, exclamation marks. And I can speak for the rest of us, Keane. The football we grew up on, you know, like it didn't matter who scored. It just mattered as long as you won or played well. And unfortunately for Bruno, what I'm seeing with Bruno now is that he's being targeted because he doesn't play well. He's being targeted because everyone sees football in a different way, right? And if you have a problem with a certain footballer, no matter what he does, you scrutinize it and you emphasize every error. So if, like Keane could watch Bruno now, and someone who's Bruno out will watch the same game, Keane would be like, oh, he done really well. Oh, nice. The other person will be saying completely different. It's everyone sees football in a different way, whether they like one player or another. I think Bruno's very unfortunate that he's in a team where the only good player he can play with Paul Pogba, who's on his level. And it's funny, isn't it? You go to these big clubs to play with good players. Unfortunately, Bruno's playing with a lot of players are not up to his standard.
Fred McTominay behind him.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? I'm going to break it down really, really simple for some people here. When you're playing football, whether it be Saturday League, Sunday League, or fives or whatever, okay, when you have a not so good player or two players on your team, when you see them free, you are reluctant to pass them the ball. So you do something else, or you turn around, you do a 360 and go somewhere else. And then when you do give them the ball and they lose it, one, you're angry because you just made me look bad. Two, you're angry because you know you shouldn't have given them the ball in the first place. Now, we need to think about when Bruno gets into these positions, when he drops back and stuff, look who he's looking across to try and play a 1-2 with or to get it back from. You know, I think we need to do a lot of... Saeed uses this word, we need to look at the context. And we need to look at the context all the time with Bruno because look what he's putting up with these players behind him and you want to scrutinise him. Do you support Man United? Are you okay? Like, what is going on? They're acting like Roy Keane used to score 20 goals a season from central midfield. They're acting like flipping Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes used to hit 25 plus goals. Give this guy a break. Be happy. He actually chose to come to us. and pray to every god and whatever you believe in that he stays. Because if this is the scrutiny we're giving him when we're coming second, we're still in a Europa League semi-final, what's going to happen when we start winning trophies? Are we going to say he should have put the free kick in the other top corner? or we're gonna say he holds on the ball too long. I just think to myself, man, this generation, they like to complain and moan. That's it.
Yeah, Bobs, I agree. I totally agree. The amount of complaining I see in my timeline, I have to put down the phone sometimes because I get banned off the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? If I say what I want to say sometimes, I'm like, fuck this, you know. I don't want to say what I want to say. You guys know me sometimes. I can have no filter. But, look, Bobs, I totally agree. I think sometimes performances can be overly scrutinized. And when it's like broken down to like the finest of details, I think, yes, there's games he's underperformed. He can definitely do better. Like, I've come on here often. There's been a couple of games this season. Actually, I'd even say a handful of games I've come on and said to Adam, he hasn't been good. But I make that allowance because look at the level of production he's given us in this period. At this time at the football club, he saved Ollie his job last season. He got us. He helped us claw back a 14-point margin to Leicester City last season. So I'm cutting him for a bit of slack at this moment in time, simply because without him, we'd be fucked, and that's simple as that.
And can I bring you back to the semi-final, guys? When we conceded that goal, he was irate.
Yeah.
He was absolutely irate. And I dare say the only few footballers at Man United that we've seen that kind of reaction are Roy Keane. I can't remember any few players. I mean, NC might have done a few stuff like that. You know, he was literally irate and livid, you know, because he knew what that meant, you know. And we're here scrutinizing him. And I loved when he came out and said, I don't need to go out on social media to see if I've had a bad game and stuff. I love that. I love that clap back. And I do say it, people might get at me, but this generation, they just like to moan. They like to be panicky about stuff and emphasize stupid errors. Like, guys, Mary Said, Adam, right? Could you imagine saying to your friends or your family, can't believe Roy Keane never made all his 10 passes. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Like, seriously, could you, like, you'd be looking at, like, do you want to use the door? Like, get out of here. Like, and I just think to myself, like, just to wrap up, I just think when we see these people comment or we see these phrases or we read these things, Keane, I have to ask, what are you watching football for? And what are you a football fan? Because some of the things we read and we hear, and especially the question you've asked, it's unheard of, man. You're not going to imagine how many times did Paul Scholes give a bad tackle? Are we going to say, oh, he's rubbish at tackling, he's rubbish at losing possession? Shut up, man. Like, stop complaining. It's unheard of. And that's why I say it. This generation, there's always a problem. Always something.
Yeah, onto that. No, obviously the social media boycott next weekend as well, guys. That is happening as well. So we'll see how that affects certain reactions. It will all be their own. They'll have to make up their own content and garbage instead of reacting to real content from football and sport in general. So yeah, I think it'll sieve out all the actual cretins and weirdos anyway. I think they'll have one of them nightmare weekends where they've got nothing to moan about. But that's that. On the game, we're not going to do, obviously, a full breakdown of the play ratings. I'm just going to come to each one of you just to ask what your man of the match, who your man of the match was today. So, Mary, I'm going to start with you. Who stood out today or who improved? Who was your man of the match today for us?
Oh, I think Mason was good. I think he was good. Not brilliant, not the Mason we've seen it last month, but I thought he was good. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka had a solid game, and I think Luke Shaw played well. Those were the three.
I am glad you mentioned Mason Greenwood there, actually, because he did a lot of good off with the ball today with not having much to feed off at all. He looked after the ball really well, definitely. Said, mate, who stood out? I won't say stood out, but who was better? Who was better today, mate, than some of the others?
Well, I thought that James was shocking, but that's for another situation. I thought Wan-Bissaka was class today. For me, Wan-Bissaka defies. For me, Wan-Bissaka defies, you know, athleticism. He's just a tank, mate. I don't know what he's on here, but every game he recovers well. He never gets tired. You know, he's been right back for the whole season. You know, So he was, for me, my man of the match. And also, I thought Fred had a decent game. I thought he was good. I thought he showed qualities. I thought Shaw was, very, very good, in terms of, again, discipline. For the back four were very good. Henderson, again, just rocking that cap, didn't have much to do. So I thought it was but then again, it was just a game where this is the problem with Man United. We're never going to know how good, these guys are until we start attacking more. And then we'll see a different side to them. I don't know. That's my worry. It's good. It's good right now, but I just think for me, let's see what we're about when we can, attack as well.
Bob's mate, who are you going with today, pal?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wan-Bissaka. I think he was the best out of a bad bunch, to be honest. It's quite worrying. Away game, Wan-Bissaka is the man of the match because he actually probably showed the most intent to actually do something with a football. I can't believe I've just said that sentence with his name involved. I think Mason showed some nice moments, some nice glimpses. I dare say he's showing that he's developing a bit more. Daniel James, like Saeed said, enough said. Luke Shaw, I think Luke Shaw was. We all know what we're going to get from Luke Shaw. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, literally, it's best out of a bad bunch.
Keane, where are you going with it, mate?
I gave Aaron Wan-Bissaka man the match. I thought going forward today he was actually all right. For once, he actually looked like he could actually help create a chance. He actually whipped in a couple of crosses that actually looked dangerous. Unlucky we didn't have Cavani in the box at that time to get in on the end of him because he probably could have scored a header or two. But I thought Luke Shaw again defensively so astute, very, very good. And he's getting, I think week by week, you're seeing getting way better on the ball as well. Like we signed Alex Telles to be our attacking left back, and Shaw's blowing him out of the water at the moment. Now, I suppose Telles hasn't got the chance to kind of play as many games, but Shaw's really improved. And Mason again today, like he looked like the only player really in the kind of forward four that looked threatening and actually looked like they had a bit of industry behind them. So, yeah, they'd be my three. But again, Fred as well, he was actually all right in terms of breaking up play as well. He had a lot of energy in there, but disappointed with the result. But Thursday, that's the big one.
Don't, man. I'm going to enjoy my week before then.
We need a lot of reserve before we get that game. Everything is dependent on this Europa League now because it does look like we have down tools and accepted the league position. What will come when the league finishes, we don't know. We'll see what punishment is handed out then probably. But Europa League, all we can do is win what we're in, and it's a massive game against Roma. Ollie has got 2 chances this time. There's 2 legs in the semi-final. Has to make this one work in Europe. Last season it was 1. This season is 2. We've got to be able to beat teams like Roma. 7th in Italy. 7th in Italy. I mean, we cannot beat that. Then we have got major problems. But guys, for now, that is us done. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Share the video on all of your socials. The subscribe button is just there below Saeed in the right-hand corner, guys. Just click on that if you want to subscribe to the channel. Do. And we will be back in the week with plenty to look. Well, I won't say look forward to. I'm hoping we're going to be looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's going to be a good game.
Big week, Liverpool and Thingy. Yeah, big week.
Yeah, Liverpool, Roma. Guys, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. But for Ole, this is probably the biggest week of his career right now. So let's hope it all works out and we can actually get ourselves to a final. It would be good, guys. But for now, we're out of here. Enjoy what's left of the weekend, and hopefully you have a great week. Speak to you soon. You know what, guys, I'm still here.